Hello. My name is Rose Joseph Ome, and I am a beautiful girl. Okay, I'm kidding. My name is Rose Joseph Ome, and well, I'm beautiful. Hello. But that's not the point. I am a mom to. Okay. I appreciate the fact that I am a mother, but that's not how I'm going to start this video. So I am going to do that again. Hi everyone, my name is Rose and I am the face behind this beautiful channel that you're seeing, Everything Mommy, and I am going to tell you a few things about myself. So let's get to know me better. I asked some of my friends on social media to write questions that they would like me to answer, explaining who I am, and I got a lot of questions. I don't know if I'll be able to take everything, but I would definitely do my best to take as much as I can. So I'm just going to grab the paper where I wrote everything. Like I feel this whole thing is filled with questions. Everything here, questions, and my God, I didn't think people would have that many questions about me, but well, here we are. I will start with the first one. My name, my full name. My full name is Rose Oyidia Joseph Ume. I am originally from Itim in Bendi local government area of Abia State, but I happen to be married to an amazing man from an amazing community, yes, in the same Abia State, but in a Hafia local government area. I will talk about that later on. So that's about my name and my origin. I am a complete Nwafibo, like Anamasibo or Fuma. Someone asked if I was foreign. My God, well, really? Oh my God, Jesus, no, I am not foreign. I am an Igbo girl. I was born, brought up, bred, nurtured in an Igbo community in Aba, in Abia State. Yes. And I attended a state government school. It wasn't anything fancy, but here I am. So I am an Igbo girl, confirm, Mwafi Igbo. Yeah, that's for that one. So I hold a BA in Mass Communication from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. I graduated in 2019 with a 2-1 certification. Yes. Marital status. I am married. I got married in 2020. That was in the pandemic year. It's funny because when people were trying to recover from the pandemic, I was planning a wedding. And it went on successfully well. And I'm grateful that I did it when I did it. In the 7th of November 2020. It's going to be my 2-year anniversary soon. Oh my God. I can't wait. So I'm married. And by God's grace, I must say, mother, I have a beautiful son. Yes, he's a son, but he's beautiful because I am just so blessed that God gave him to me. His name is Ami Armstrong Ikechukwu Joseph Ume. He has many names, but these are just the ones that I want to just let you know right now. So he's going to be 1 year soon. He was also born coincidentally in the same month when our marriage will be 2. It's going to be wonderful. I consider myself a person who, what's that word? Is it ambivalent? I don't know if that's the word, but I think if it's ambivalent, then I'm correct. A person who likes, I'm outgoing, but sometimes I don't want to go anywhere. I want to just be in my own space. And it's funny because one of the things I like to do is to sleep. I like to sleep. It's not funny, it's true. I feel if I want to relax, I just sleep. But when I'm not relaxing, through sleeping, I like to see movies. I like movies, action movies. But these days, I'm being very careful in the kind of action movie that I watch because it's as if it was beginning to get here. Okay, so but now I still like my action movies, but not movies that have too much violence in them. My favorite color. Do you know that I did not know that I had a favorite color until my wedding period? Do you know that? I wore, you know, Igbo land, traditional marriage formalities, you come out twice, unless you guys do more than that. But in Igbo land, the bride is expected to change her clothing twice. The first outing, I wore a burgundy dress. And the second outing, that's the one where you get to find your husband with some wine, all those beautiful things. I wore a pure red, or tomato red. So it was after then that I realized that I actually had a favorite color, and that's red. I think I am a weird music lover. Do you know that I can stay for a whole year without playing music? I don't even remember the last time I played music with my phone. But the funny thing is that when someone plays music around me, by the way, I love more of gospel songs. When someone plays a music, piece of musical note or anything around me. I love it. I remember that I once started learning how to play the piano, but I don't know how to explain it. I sometimes I like music. Sometimes I feel like it's headache. But generally, I like music, but I don't remember playing music. I don't play music that often. There was a gun pointed to my head, and I was asked to delete one folder in my phone. On my phone, I would definitely delete my audio folder. It's funny, but that's it about me. I like to dance. Okay. I don't know if I'm such a good dancer. But some people say that I am, while I think I suck at dancing. But I just like to dance because naturally I am an expressive person. So I feel music is one of the ways, dancing, is one of the ways that you express any particular emotion that you're feeling. I like to dance. You are the person who has to decide whether it's a good dance or not, but that's your business, okay? What is my ideology? When you talk about ideology, I believe that life is not worthy to be lived if it is not being lived on purpose or in the line of purpose. I believe that life is meaningless unless people are living a life of purpose. Like, I like money. I want to have money. But if I were to choose between a life of wealth, having money, like being so fabulous just because that, like being super rich and being super impactful, I would choose being impactful. But recently, I have also realized that I can be super rich and super impactful. In fact, money is a lot of impact. So now I like money, I like impact, but I am just trying to say that I believe that anything anyone is doing in life, it has to be geared towards purpose. And that purpose I'm talking about is not just anything by the roadside. It has to be purpose that truly blesses people's lives. So that's my ideology. I also like politics. I am a very political person. It's funny because I wish I had been more active in my uni days, in the SUG of my school, but I like politics. If I were to discuss anything without necessarily having to study so much, it would be politics, because I'm passionate about that area. I'm passionate about leadership, and I want people to lead amazingly well, and I want to be involved in the processes that elect the person that finally gets to lead me. So that's for my ideology. I'm actually being very fast because there's so many questions here, and at this rate, I don't even know if I can take everything, but let's just keep going. So someone asked why I started YouTube. I started YouTube at a point in my life when I was beginning to feel useless. One thing about myself that I have always known is that I like to be upwardly mobile. What I mean is I like to be doing things that bless people. I like to be sharing knowledge. I like to be helping people one way or the other, especially after I realized that my superpower is my brain. Like, I'm very smart. I'm not boasting, but I know that I know my way around some things. I get things easily. I understand things easily. So when I realized that it was my super strength, I began to think that it wouldn't be good. It would be a total waste if I have all this and let it waste away. So I decided to help, anywhere I am, share information that will help people. So when I started this YouTube channel was at a point when I just had my baby, and it felt like my world was falling apart. It's funny because people see you on social media and they assume that you're completely happy. There was a time in my life that I wasn't happy at all. And the funny thing was that I don't know how to explain. I was happy with all the blessings that God had given me, but I was not happy because it felt limiting. It felt like a lot of things have changed about me and I didn't know how to handle them all. And all the things I thought would have made up my life, it was as if they were just slipping off my fingers. So I began to think, and thank God for prayers, thank God for the Holy Spirit, I began to realize that every level that God places me on is an opportunity for me to help share knowledge. I did so many things that helped me bounce back from that depression, which I will share in a separate video, but for the focus of this video, I'll just stick to this. So when I came out from that depression, I began to see that I wasn't the only person who was going through this, and there are many people getting married every Saturday. They need help as well. So I decided to just open a channel and just share my own knowledge. And this is not the first time I actually opened this channel. Like, I opened this channel, I think I set up the first name for my channel with my name, Rose Joseph Ume, and that was in 2020. But I didn't upload any video apart from the trailer, I'll be the breaker. But then in 2022, 2 years after, I changed the name to Everything Mommy. And by the way, the name Everything Mommy came to me through, I pray a lot about everything. I can pray when I'm going to buy a dress. I believe that's how basic prayer should be. So I was praying, asking God to show me what to do. I needed divine direction to be able to make impact, because I don't know it all. I'm still becoming, like Michelle Obama said. I'm still becoming, and I needed help. And so when I prayed, I believe God that it was God that gave me that name, Everything Mommy. And I began to see that I should share everything about being a mother, inspiring stories that help mothers out there and make motherhood easier. So I think that's why I started the YouTube channel. Now let me talk about something else. I am a very dramatic person. When I say that I'm dramatic, what I mean is I'm very expressive and playful. I don't care. Like, I feel like, what are we really being so serious about life? Of course, I'm serious person. I'm a very serious person. Some people say that I am strict. I look strict. Or I give firm handshakes. That's actually true. But I feel like, when you just get through all that hardship, because we have to be serious to be taken seriously. When you get away from all that, I feel that there's a lot going on around here, this thing we call life, and you don't have to be so serious about everything. I believe that you should play like a child, because that's how you get to relax. So I once went to a mall in Lagos State, a very big mall, and I had this music playing. It wasn't even, I don't think it was a Christian song, but I just loved the beat. I had this friend around me. I started dancing and she started taking videos. And oh my God, I can't forget that. So that's what I mean by I'm dramatic. I am dramatic. I don't know, however you want to interpret it, I am dramatic. I like to be expressive. I like to make people happy, even though I am not a comedian, but I try. My first response to new ideas is often fear. Like when a new idea comes to my mind, the first thing that crosses my mind is fear. But the thing is, I'm happy that I don't end there. Like it doesn't end there. I take it further by the grace of God. And one of the things that helps me is that immediately I'm sure that idea is to be executed, because some ideas are not meant to be executed immediately. Some ideas are for the future. But once I am able to ascertain that God wants me to execute the idea, I put it out there. It might be to a friend, it might be to the public. In 2018, by God's grace, I was able to lead a campaign that helped to sponsor the tuition fees of indigent people. And it was miraculous how it happened. We were able to pay the school fees of 25. Was it 25 people or 50 people? If not 25, 50 people, I've forgotten. It's funny how I forgot something that wonderful. So, but then the whole process, I didn't sponsor it myself, even though, yes, of course, my money entered it, but it was through social campaign in 2018, and it was massive. I'm grateful to God, but I was so afraid when I was doing that. I'm just happy that even though fear is the first thing that comes to my mind, when big ideas drop, it doesn't end there. God helps me to take it from there to when it finally becomes a big deal. Before I got married, I was weighing 50 kg. At some point, I think I weighed 45. I was very slim, yes. And because of that, I struggled with self-esteem issues plenty times. Growing up, so many people called me so many names. So many people likened me to unpleasant things around because I was so slim. And it began to affect me. I struggled so much. It made me avoid certain people. It made me stay away from certain companies because I didn't want to be reminded that I was slim. And it made me feel like I wasn't good enough. But the funny thing, initially I tried to fight it by elevating my self-esteem to a point where it was as if I was now becoming overconfident. So some people saw me that she was so strict, so confident. They didn't know that I was struggling inside with self-esteem. So what was the turning point? Well, I think first of all, it's really important for us to understand that some issues are sensitive issues, and we should be careful how we make jokes around people, especially when it comes to their body type. Because, I'm telling you the truth, many people made so many remarks about me that made me feel so less of myself. I remember getting back at a colleague in school then because she made a remark about my body type, and it wasn't even, we were not discussing body trains. It was just, she felt she had a summer body and I didn't, and it made me feel so bad, and I think I said so many things to her. But that was then. Now I don't act that way anymore because a lot has changed in my mind. I've matured more than I used to be. So someone also asked them, what changed? How did I get past that? Okay, I began to deliberately expose myself to information, and then I began to expose myself to people who were like me, who were doing amazing things. It was as if the more I looked at them, the more I saw that I could do so much, and I didn't need to let my body type hinder me. And I also began to realize that it wasn't necessarily about how I looked. It was more about what was here. So I decided to develop this place more than I developed this place. Since I ate everything possible to get fat, then it wasn't forthcoming. So I decided to forget about how I looked here and focus more on how I looked here. And the truth is that right now, when I was pregnant, I was weighing 75. I weighed 75 kg, and I was, what? I looked into the mirror many times. I didn't recognize myself. And right now, I don't even want to be fat anymore. But then it was a big deal. And I think if you're battling with self-esteem, first thing you need to understand is that you have to like yourself first. You know that initially when people made remarks at me, I would flare up and try to get back at them. But I saw that it made them gain more guts, because they could obviously see that I hated it. So they started saying those things more often. But when I started making jokes, even about myself, jokes that I was comfortable with, it became easier for me to like myself. And when people saw that, well, this person you're talking to even likes herself, like, more, I walk into a room, I dominate that room, I walk around, I sit down, I cross my leg, I want to answer a question, I fling my hair. You have to like yourself first. If you don't like yourself, people won't like you, okay? And let me tell you the truth, greatness is not a matter of, it's not about your body type, unless you want to do modeling. But right now, they even have modeling agencies that handle thick people and slender people. So love yourself. It is the kind of love you give out about yourself that people will reciprocate on, okay? I'm an amazing writer, a fabulous writer, and I am an amazing speaker. Yes, I have spoken at many conferences, and when I remember now, I'm so grateful to God for the opportunity, and I've been able to participate in so many human empowerment programs, especially for the young people, and it's been an amazing experience. I'm grateful. I'm on Facebook at Rose Joseph Ume, so you can check me out there. And yes, and then someone said, what keeps you constantly motivated to keep going? My sister, do you know that if there's ever been a time when I felt like giving up, like my life should let me just be the normal average person, it is now that it's now that I'm married, but not like now, the first few months after I had my baby. It's funny how something so beautiful as the birth of a baby can also bring you so many thoughts, okay? I had many reasons to just say, you know what, forget it. Let me just find, just live my normal life, and any day God decides to take me, that would be it. But first of all, when I look into myself, based on what my Bible has told me, and based on what I have seen about myself, I just know that there's something about me. There's a lot God has put inside me. Why should I let it waste? Like, do you know who I am? I'm saying this with all sense of humility. I look into the mirror and I see the glamorous person that God has brought out. I'm like, God couldn't have made me this wonderful just to let it waste. And apart from that, I have been involved in an accident that claimed lives. I'm saying I think because I was not in the right frame of mind to even check if anybody survived from that accident. That was in 2019. I was in this accident, and God, that was the first time I realized that I could actually die. But God saved me, and I'm like, why would he save me if there's no purpose? Why would he keep me? Why would he keep bringing me opportunities? Why would he keep giving me trials? Because the more I see trials, the more I get better. God, there has to be something that God wants me to do, and that's why I'm going to do it. So what keeps me motivated is that all this cannot waste. Because I will answer questions about how I'm able to use this one day. And I can't just let myself stand there gazing at God and saying, oh, okay, well, everything else is an excuse. If you want to do something, you're going to find a way to do it. So that's what keeps me motivated. There's a lot inside me. God has given me so much. And there's so many problems around in this world. How can I be a part of such a beautiful world and I will not be a part of the solution? And apart from that, my husband is an amazing man, a very supportive man. And he happens to have a way to always, each time I want to, okay, so being, in the same home with such a powerful support system, there's no excuse at all. This one says, what's the best way of keeping your calm when you're being annoyed or irritated by some persons? The thing is that I think this thing is about personality. I'm going to answer it in two ways. First about personality, and then about the real thing. I already said that I am an expressive person before. If somebody annoys me and I keep it to myself, I am going to boil. I'm going to explode. And when I finally explode, it's gonna be more than a tsunami or bomb. So I started finding a way to solve it. Like, I know that when I'm angry, I shouldn't say things that should, make the situation worse. But then, how can I be angry and be mindful of what I say? So I developed this strategy. When someone annoys me so much, I see myself as someone that is so big that I cannot come and I can't begin to banter words with you. What? Do you know who I see myself like this person, like this. No, not above every other person. Above my own challenges and above my issues. I'm like this. So when someone brings an issue, I'm like, I have gone like this now. Do you know what it means? Do you know what it took me to get here? I cannot get down with you. No. So what I do is that sometimes I leave the presence of that person and I enter a room and I begin to rant in that room. When I rant in the room, I come out, I clean my mouth, I feel like, yes, I have said my mind. But the person didn't hear me. So it's more like, I don't care whether you heard me or not, but I've said that it has left my mind. So that's funny. But you could also try it. That's for that one. Hey, how did you meet your husband? And how did you know he is the one? And what qualities did you see in him that made you say yes to his proposal? Okay. I actually marked an asterisk to this question because I think I'm going to drag my husband on this show. I'm going to drag him to this show. I forgot to say that I will answer questions that are more like personal to me, and I will do another video where I answer other questions that are not really personal but I have opinions on, and then I will do a video with my husband. I'll bring him the show and we will talk about how we met. I think that's just the best way to answer this question. I would say what I saw in him that made me say yes, and he would say what he saw in me that made him want a yes. It's gonna be interesting. Watch out for it. How did you happen to have gap tooth? Really? Right now I'm feeling myself. You people really notice my gap tooth. They call it diastema actually. Oh my god, nice, amazing. I don't know. My mom died when I was 8 years old, so I don't remember if she had a diastema, but my father doesn't. He's still much alive. My husband says it's actually a sign of malnutrition, which is funny because he also has a diastema and my son has a diastema and I know he's not malnourished. So I don't know. It's just how God wanted it. Now someone says, when are we expecting a new baby? Ami is so handsome. I can't wait to see more queens. Okay. You're not the only one who wants a new baby. But this time, I don't want a new baby. I want new babies. So let's put it in prayer. When the Lord wants it, we're gonna have it. But then, humanly speaking, I want Armstrong to get to a point where he can at least do some things, before I begin to have other children. Let's just leave it at that. What do you use to film and edit your videos? At the moment, I'm using my mobile phone, the Samsung Galaxy A21s. It's not the best, but it's the best for me at this point and at my level. And I'm working by God's grace and believing God for a Canon EOS camera. I saw it in church the other day and I loved it. And a boom mic and working together. But right now it's my mobile phone and it has a pretty good camera. And I used to use InShot to edit my videos. I still do sometimes, but then a friend introduced me to CapCut and it's been amazing because it has this auto subtitling. You can subtitle videos automatically without having to write them out yourself. So I started using CapCut, but sometimes I'm more familiar with InShot, so I still go to my InShot. So it's either InShot or CapCut. That's what I use to edit my videos, and I edit using my mobile phone. I'm still learning how to edit using a laptop, so maybe when I get there I will use Adobe something else, but then right now these are just what I use. So someone says, how do you fund this your rich auntie lifestyle? Can you show us the way? Okay. First of all, what do you mean? Rich auntie? There's something my mind is telling me that you mean by this question, but it's just so funny. When I go to buy clothes, for example, I used to pray, but apart from that, I look out for things that have potential. Some of the things I wear are not that expensive. It's not even, some of the things I wear are not expensive. You won't believe how much I buy some of the things I wear. But it's all about packaging. number one. I like to dress well. I didn't say that. I like to dress well. I like it when people look amazing. And looking amazing is not about how much you have or how much your clothing items cost. It's about here. I buy clothes. When I was a student, sometimes I would wear clothes that the cost was actually 800 naira. But you would never know. Because first of all, I don't just choose any clothes out there. I look for clothes that have potential. So when I buy the clothes, I make sure it is my size. Even though I was very slim, I didn't wear anything that was big for me. So I wore my size, and I knew how to, and I still know how to accessorize. If I wear a skirt, I prefer to wear gowns actually. When I'm wearing my gowns, I look for, instead of just wearing a gown and moving out, it's fine, but I look for a tummy belt just to spice things up. And when I wear my tummy belt, sometimes I look for a headband or depending on what I'm wearing, a face cap. I forgot to say that I like face caps a lot. I own my clothes and I keep them clean, and I walk like saying that my father owned this world, because indeed my father is the owner of the universe. So rich auntie, I don't know. I never blow, but I will blow very soon. But this is just it. So someone asked, are you a stay-at-home mom? If not, is this something you would consider? Okay, I wanted to look up the word stay-at-home mom so that I would get other people's definition of stay-at-home mom, but I was just so busy I couldn't do that. At the moment, I am a writer, an amazing writer. So I handle writing jobs for clients, especially religious people like pastors, evangelists. I ghostwrite, and I write contents for brands and organizations, politicians, and I also do voiceovers for brands. And these are the avenues that I'll be getting money from, even though in all honesty, I am also out to get a job, because somehow it would also give extra income. Things are quite expensive, and it's a good thing to diversify or to have so many other sources of income. But I don't want a job that would make me work so much 9 to 5. I want something that would just give me the opportunity to interact with people and learn so much about the corporate sector, because I am going to establish companies that would utilize that information. So at the moment, I work from home. I do all my writings, my recordings at home. Sometimes I go to the studio because I studied mass communication and I worked at a broadcasting station for quite some time. So I do not call myself a broadcaster right now because I am not currently employed by the broadcasting station, but I still run commentaries there. I still run jingles there. I still read articles there. I still have connection there. So that's another way that I get money. But apart from that, I am a writer, a fabulous writer. I write everything writable. How in the world did you meet God and still a practicing believer? Okay, the truth is that I was born into a Christian family. I have to be very honest about that. I was never in the world, so to say. I grew up having the fear of God, because my father would always tell me that I had nobody else but God. So when my mom died, it was difficult because I didn't understand how God would be there and let my mom die. But then that drew me closer to God, and I'm grateful for God, because some people would let that draw them away from God, but that drew me closer. And I started following this neighbor to attend church. And I was born into Winners Chapel, that's Living Faith Church, but currently I attend Assemblies of God Church, because I was just 13 or 14 years old when a neighbor took me to Assemblies of God Church, and I just liked the church. I got baptized there. I answered the altar. I realized that even though I was born into a Christian home, I was not really born again. I was just a morally conscious person. But then I got born again in the Assemblies of God Church, and I got my baptism of the Holy Spirit in 2007, guys. Yes, 2007 or 2008. Okay, I think it was in 2008, and I got baptized on 28th of March 2011, and it's been a beautiful experience. I'm not perfect, but God has been wonderful to me, and that's it. Now the next question says, how was my wedding blessed by a great man like Reverend Dr. Omobai? Okay, my meeting Daddy Oma is a blessing to me. It's been a beautiful journey, like maybe one day, but I met him through association. That is why it's important for you to be careful with who you associate with and who you finally marry. So my meeting Daddy Oma, which will continually be a blessing to me, is by association. I am blessed to know that this kind of man is in my life. Like I'm in his life and he's in my life. He's a deity, and I'm so blessed to be associated with him. Okay, so that's it for that one. There's a question here about discovering purpose, but I will not talk about it now because I'm just taking personal questions. But I will do a separate video addressing this one so that this video will not be too long. It's already a lot. Yes, there's also a question about developing a writing skill. I will talk about that separately.